All right, good day. Apologies. We are a few minutes late today. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. We're looking at how to evaluate your parenting journey in 2022. If you're a parent in the academy, you already know what this is about. I'm sure you already have evaluated your journey and seen how it is. And if you followed our My Intentional Parenting Journey, that also gives you a clue in what conversation that we're having today. So the idea is for you to, look at your conversation and how, look at your journey and how it makes a difference. And if you're here, you can see me, you can hear me. Please confirm that you can see and hear me. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody present. All right, can you hear me? AirPods. Okay. All right. I just wanted to confirm that my sound is good so that we can get it done. So you must review your journey for success. And if you want your journey to mean anything, to be, fantastic, amazing, whatever it is, it's only when you do not do self assessment, you actually fail. Because many of the times, one of the things that happens to us on the journey to parenting is that we do not understand how much parenting needs us to be trained. I have seen parents say, "Oh no, nobody's perfect." All this, training and all of that. Does it mean someone is going to, become perfect and all of that? No. Parenting does not need perfection. Parenting needs training. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be trained. Every single parent needs to be trained, whether you like it or not. That's what makes the difference. All right, in your journey. And when you get trained, you begin to also learn how to create plans, how to create structures, how to create systems. Many of the times, what we call discipline isn't discipline in itself. Many of the times, what we call, our journey, most of the times we'll just say, "Oh, I'm a very disciplined parent. I'm a very, my parenting is all together and all of that." But incidentally, what happens is that our parenting, we're not disciplined because we don't even have structures, we don't have systems, we don't know where we're going. That's what parenting is about. Okay, having a system structure that actually holds you accountable to where you are really, 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 really running. Okay, so you need to be trained, you don't need to be perfect. So we're not teaching perfection. When we teach parenting, we're teaching that you should be trained and become better on the job. All right. So when you have plan and systems, then you know have what to review. Now I'm on this conversation, and I know that the parents in the academy, they are going to understand when I say you can review. So they have a system, and when I call some of these parameters, they will be able to look at it against the systems that they've built and be able to review themselves and evaluate themselves. And one of the advantages of the inner circle is that you get evaluated as you go. You will be able to actually pick out, this is where I'm doing okay. This is what, because there's a system evaluation, from time to time. Your children will evaluate you evaluate yourself, your spouses, and all of that. So what are the areas? What do you need to evaluate? All right. This is not to overwhelm you. Okay. This is for you to sit down and begin to think about your process. What am I doing right? What am I not doing right? Where can I put in more work? Every parent in the inner circle today know that this is what I haven't done well. This is more work that I need to do. So it helps you to know what is wrong, then helps you to know where you're going. So if you don't know what is wrong, you will never actually be able to know where you're going. So number one area you want to look at in your evaluation is love and affection. Love and affection. And we talk about love and affection. A lot of people think, what is she talking about? Love and affection? How do I evaluate my love and affection? Now, a lot of the times I tell parents that knowing that you love your child is not enough. Showing that you love your child is very key. How do you even begin to show that you love your child? There are many parameters to look at when it comes to love and affection. This, indication of of your connection with your children, how much time you're spending with them. This will be all judged with, can you really, connect with your child beyond just saying, hey, my children know that I love them now. I see quite a number of parents say that. My children know I love them. Okay, so before we get to the questions to ask, I will just reel out the parameters and then we would now get to the questions to ask. Okay, number 2 is time and stress management. Excuse me. Number 2 is time and stress management. Number 1 is love and affection. Number 2 is time and stress management. How will you be able to measure what you're doing now? There's a parent in the inner circle during her review said to me, Coach, I had less work to do last year. I was so overwhelmed and I was so everywhere. This year, I got a new role. I had more to do. I wrote my first book. I was able to do better with my children. And yet, I had more to do this year. So the problem is not how much you have to do. The problem is, can you really manage these skills? So there are two different things, right? We all have 24 hours, every single one of us. And if you're not careful, your 24 hours, you will never be able to use it. When people say, oh, Coach, how do you do this, that you do, and all of that, if you can manage your stress and your time, then it's a blockbuster. One of the courses that we do, webinars that we do in the inner circle is time and stress management. A particular parent said, after that master class, her life totally transformed. So the problem with overwhelm is not that there's no time, or it's not that you're doing too much. In fact, I tell people that impact makers are the ones who are so busy yet they're so able to produce even more with their time. It will shock you how much time that you need to do the things that we do. But yet we have the result. We're able to actually do the things that matter. So it's not about, oh, I have a lot to do. So when people come to me and say, I don't really have time for parenting classes, I'm a very busy mom, I'm a very busy father, and all of that. No, your problem is not being busy. Your problem is that you do not know how to manage your time. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. In fact, in Africa, it's one of the biggest challenges that we have. We're overwhelmed doing a lot of things while doing nothing. And when you really look at what you're doing, you just find out that you're just everywhere, not actually being able to achieve so much. So you want to review that. Where are you now? Your time management and stress management. Is stress management, lack of stress management, that's what makes a lot of parents, actually hit their children. I found that when parents are stressed, they actually get to the point where they are angry. So your stress level, if not well managed, your parenting cannot be successful. Number 3 is your relationship skills. One of the very first things that you learn in the academy is creating a social roadmap for your Gen Z. And so if you've created that roadmap, your evaluation now will go to looking at that roadmap now and asking yourself, where am I? That roadmap includes your own relationship. I remember that when we did the masterclass on legacy in October, I said that strategic relationship is part of your legacy. Many times we don't even understand how much these things are, how much they mean on our journey. Your children should be able to actually inherit relationships that are strategic. That's part of what you give to your children. I always often we give this example about the late Benson Idahosa, Archbishop Benson Idahosa, and Bishop Oyedepo. And I see the Benson Idahosa University would have gone down, as in gone down the drain, even after he was gone. But there was a strategic relationship that was built between him and Bishop Oyedepo. Bishop Oyedepo took up ensuring that legacy doesn't die, and ensuring that his children are, doing what it is that is supposed to be done. Strategic relationships. So he died leaving his family a strategic relationship. And that is a key, is a legacy, something to leave for your family. So legacy is not about money. I'm going to stop here because, of course, I will even confuse you the more if I keep saying talking about legacy. You can't inherit friendship, but you can inherit strategic relationships. And it's your duty to actually create strategic relationship with your children. Okay? Sorry. It's your duty to be able to create that with your children. It's your responsibility. Your children should be able to inherit relationships that can turn their lives, whether you are there or you're not there. That's the idea. And many of the times I find that parents often do not even understand what it means to create strategic relationship. That's part of what it is that we teach in the academy. Number 4, how do you measure and evaluate your parenting journey? Autonomy and independence. How can you begin to evaluate where your children are? How autonomy, are they independent? Are they autonomous? Too much dependency. One of the challenges that I have seen in our client, very big challenge, is that we raise children who are very dependent. Very dependent. And that's why we have 30-year-olds who live in their parents' house and blah, 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 blah. All right? And, the more independent your child becomes, the more stressless your journey becomes. When you raise a child who is unskilled, you are burdened. An unskilled child is a burden to you. I keep saying this over and again. An unskilled child is a burden to you. You live a life of burden. You're constantly, it was Oluma that shared her journey. She lives in the US, a single mom parenting boys. And she said before the inner circle, she was always, running around, she'll go home, cook. Her children, she said once she's not back, her teenage sons will not eat. And it was overwhelming her, knowing that she needs to, sort out the home front, sort out her career, sort out everything. Her children were not, independent. And one of the things that I did with my upcoming book, Raising an Independent Thinking Child. By the way, if you're outside of Nigeria, all the 3 books are live on Amazon, and we're expecting, the print out. One of the books is actually with us here. We're expecting the print out for those of us here, tomorrow. In fact, one of the prints came to us not okay. We had to reject it for a reprint anyway. But we're hoping that by tomorrow and next, we'll be able to start distribution for you to get your book. One of the things that I shared in the Independent Thinking Child is that independence starts when you have your child. The very first day you have your child. Independence is as little as where your child sleeps. People tell me, oh no, my children need to sleep in my room, every night because, they are scared and all of that. Anyway, story for another day. I will reserve it for parents in the inner circle. But when you're thinking about independence, you must think about how your child can survive without you. And there's a level of independence every child should have at every point in time. And unfortunately, one of the things that I have seen on my journey is how we raise children who are so dependent on us. And the problem is that the reason why we raise children like that, let me tell you why, it's control. Trust me. A lot of us want to control the child. A lot of us want to be the alpha and the omega in the life of the child. And this is actually the real problem. So your children, everything is about you. Yeah, your children need to ask you for, for salt, for pepper. Even when you allow them to be independent, you're cutting out. All right. You want them to be solely dependent on you. I have seen teenagers, even young adults, 18, 19, they cannot make decisions on their own. They need to go and ask their parents. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't advise your children. I'm saying that at some point in your journey, you only become a guardian and not someone who makes decisions for your children. Your child should be able to, at some point, make some level of decision. I was writing in that book, Raising an Independent Thinking Child, where it's a 263-page book. All right? And we're going to review it in the inner circle. Amazing. Blockbuster. It's the best thing I've ever written. Trust me. I know it. And I read through that book myself. I was like, whoa. And, when we talk about independent thinking, I'm very passionate about it because I have seen a whole mess in what it is that we're doing in the name of raising children. I've worked with young people in my office, and I've seen their parents control 26-year-olds, 24-year-olds, Tell them, oh no, you work at this time. You need to call us in the office to say, oh, my child came back at 7. Why did my child come back at 7 p.m.? It's a problem. There's this control that we are putting in the system of our parenting, and it's making a mess. That's why we're not allowing our children to do things on their own. We're afraid, and this control is coming from fear. Fear is valid, but if you allow it, it stops you. Fear is valid, but if you allow it, it stops you. And I've seen fear stop many parents, and it just glues your leg to a spot. You're afraid of dying. That's why. I posted something on my wall today on Facebook. Pastor Tommy said something. He said, you don't want to lead because you're afraid to die. And you say, oh, I just like to, support from the background. And he said, that's fear, that's cowardice, really. And it's not humility. Okay? So it is very, very, very key that you understand that when you're raising children, your main goal should be independence at every point in time. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. A parent came to us 2 years ago. I don't know if she's listening to me. And she said to me, I really do not want to join the inner circle. My children are very obedient. I don't even need to beat them. They are not that kind of children. They are good. They do everything I tell them. They are, so perfect. Everything about them is just so good. And, she continued to say all that, and I was just listening to her. And then she said, well, but there's one that just a bit, heady. I tell her something, tell him some things, and he just argues a bit. That's why I would consider. I said, okay, the choice is yours. And she said, okay, I'll pay and just, be there. At her review, she came back to me and she said, I thought I came for my child who was a bit heady. I actually came for the ones who were obedient. Obedience is not the goal. I say that again. In parenting, the goal is not obedience. All this, oh, I'm raising my child. Oh, my children are perfect. Oh, they're already very obedient. Oh, I don't need to even beat them. Oh, I know some parents are like that. I'm already doing well. What are they saying? There's a lot much more. I don't even want to begin to tell you how much more there is. So if you're going to raise a child who is, and what we call obedience most of the time is control. So we end up raising zombies, what I call the foolish virgins. There's a webinar in the inner circle that is called How Not to Raise a Foolish Virgin. How not to raise a foolish virgin. And I call them foolish virgins. People who are good, and cannot really do much. Obedience. Oh, my child is quiet. Quietness is not the goal. Oh, my child is good. Goodness is not a skill. It's not necessarily a good thing, all right? Oh, my child obeys everything that I say. It's not necessarily a good thing, really. If you're going to evaluate your parenting using the intentional parenting system, it's not necessarily a good thing, okay? We're going to do an evaluation, stuff, at the end of the year where you are, where you're going to, and all of that, right in the inner circle, just after the party, the annual party in the inner circle, all right? That's this for parents who are in the inner circle. For incoming yarders as well, where you're going to be part of that party, yes. All right, so autonomy and independence, the more your children become, the more independent, the more stressless your journey becomes. And that's actually the very key thing, right? Your children, so it's not just about your children being good. Oh, my child is good. My child is obedient. No, it is much more than that. It's about your child being able to think for themselves and on their own. And it's a skill that you actually build. So for me to write a 263-page book on this subject, you will know it's serious. You will know it's serious. It's actually a very serious book. But the tools are amazing. The things that have been shared in that book, is amazing. And I think that if you find right in the what's it called, the description, you're going to find details to pre-order. Pre-order ends tomorrow for your information. And no, books are not many money-making ventures for us. Please, if you do not come to me after tomorrow to say, oh, please, I miss you. No, don't do that. It will actually be unfair. We have had to do this book twice. You don't know what has actually gone into it. All right. So I just plead, if you're going to do pre-order today, tomorrow. Do not come for pre-order after that. Pay the full price. You will be helping us if you do that. Even when you pay the full price, because we've done this twice, we're still not making money from it. All right. So I just want people to have these books in their hands and actually gain value from it. Okay, please. I'm pleading. This is me pleading right now. Okay, thank you. So these are the details if you want to get the books. Instead of paying 15,000, you pay 9,500. And it's crazy how we're going to have a 260-page book at that price. It's totally crazy. You don't want to know how much it is that is taking us to actually print one copy. All right, but that's by the way. So autonomy and independence is actually very key, and you need to put all of that. Please, if you want to pre-order, the details are on my screen. Please do not send me a chat to ask me for details either. All right, send the chat to that number. The details on screen, and then the link. The link is in the description, right? The link is also in the description. Okay, the next one is education and learning. That's another way to also evaluate your journey. Education and learning, and when you learn, your children become better for it. When you learn more, your children become better for it. People say, all right, people say, people with the Amazon gang can't wait. It's already on Amazon, all right? It's already on Amazon. You can get your copies today and get it delivered to you. All of the new books are already on Amazon. We make sure that goes live even before it goes live here. All right, so education and learning. When you learn more, your children become better for it. I say that your children are, they are a product of what you know, where they are raised, who raised them, and what it is that that the person that raised them, what they know. So they are a product of their environment. They are a product of the person who is raising them, and they are a product of what the person who is raising them know. It's actually very important. All right, it's actually very important. So learning. A lot of us were not taught to learn. A lot of us do not know how to learn. So education and learning is different. You need to measure, how much have I learned from last year to this year on this journey? How have I been able to add more to my children? How have I been able to add more so that my children become better for it? How have I been able to transition? What new thing will I be offering my children? For every time my children are away and they're going to be coming back, one of the things that we benchmark ourselves over, my husband and I, is to ask ourselves, what new thing can we become to our children? What new thing can we become to our children? And that's a very key thing for us. So we are constantly marking up ourselves and asking ourselves, what have we learned differently? See, in 2022, in 2023, 2024, your children are requiring wisdom, not just parenting. Your children are not interested in instructions. They're interested in wisdom. So wisdom is a very key aspect of your parenting. You need parenting intelligence in today's world. So you need to be intelligent parentally, if there's anything like that. I make my English. You need to be intelligent in the aspect of parenting. You need to be able to think. I usually say that the intentional parent is a thinking parent. So in the academy, one of the things that we've been able to grow are parents who can think as they are actually journeying. It's not somebody who is being, someone is thinking for you. Parents who can think as they are journeying through and going through their journey. And it's very key. Education and learning. Now, education and learning is not about you going to school. I've seen people who went to school with first class, came out tops of their class, and yet they are not educated. They're not really learning. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about learning. I'm talking about the intelligence of the time. That's what I'm talking about. And for every time, that's very key. If the last book you read was when you left university, there's a problem. It means that you are not becoming. You can't offer your children anything. Many of the times, many of us are just there as parents. We have nothing to offer. And your children know that you have nothing to offer. They know. They say things like, don't worry, my mother will not know. Or don't worry, my father will not. My father is not that kind of person. They don't know how to do anything. You call them, please come and open this phone for me. Your children know that you're not learning. Your children know that you're stuck. And when they need answers, they don't come to you. See, people don't come to you because they love you for answers. So love is not enough. People come to you for answers because you have answers. If you're not valuable, nobody will come to you for answers. Why you come to me for answers on parenting is because I have answers. If I don't, no matter who I am to you, you won't come to me. That's why when you run into a problem and anybody who is around you is not valuable enough to offer answers, you don't go to them, even though you love them. So the same thing with your children. Your child will not come to you just because they love you. Your child will come to you because of the love value that you provide. The child will come to you because of the value they put. So if you don't have that value, then look for where it is. Then look for where it is. And when you're looking at your child is, there's no value, nothing. Your child is just looking at you, you're just there. Your child loves you, yes. And it's okay. It's okay, but people don't get solution from people that they just love. I humorously would say in the inner circle that when you're coming and you're not coming, my job is not to make you love me. That's not my job. My job is to give you value. You paid for value. You didn't pay to love me. That's not what you paid for. In fact, there are some things I would have said that I've rubbed off on you wrongly, and you're like, this woman said. But you still paid because you saw value. So people don't necessarily come to you because they love you. They come to you because of the value that you carry. Your children cannot come to you if you don't produce value. That's why education and learning is. So you need to benchmark yourself and ask yourself, where am I at this parameter? Am I at the place where I have become a solution provider for my children? I remember one of those days, our son, there was, he said they were teaching sex education in school and all of that. And then, they say, oh, how many of you have been told about sperm, have been told about this and all of that? He said he was the only one that rose his hand. And he said at that moment, he now realized, oh, my parents know too much. And for every problem that he had about puberty, sex, feelings, he's able to jump. He says to me, I know that my mates don't really know about these things. What do you think has happened? We have provided value to him. We're not there saying, actually, I'm not really sure. You know what? When you do that, that's when your children will go to their mates and go to find solutions. But when you teach them, when you give them value, they are able to come back to you. So how valuable are you? That's the question I'm asking, posing to you. How valuable are you? Because you can't give what you don't have. Your child can love you and yet do not see you as valuable. So the question you want to ask yourself today, sit down and ask yourself, am I valuable to my children? Am I valuable to my children? So it is one thing for you to be raising a child. I just love my children. Oh, my family, I just love. We all love ourselves, and that's it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But how valuable are you? How valuable are you? Until you create a system of value, nobody actually even listens to you. But your parents, your siblings will not come to you because, they love you. When they have problems, they don't run to you because you don't have the solution. For instance, if you have money to give me and I run into financial problem, I will come to you because you have money to give me. That's it. But if you do not have money to give me, why am I coming to you, for Christ's sake? You're not useful to me. You need to begin to think it. How am I valuable? How am I, my education and learning? How have I positioned myself to be that epitome of value for my child? When our daughter, say something, say, don't worry, my daddy is going to know. How valuable are you? Intentional parenting is like a race. It's a race. You're constantly benchmarking yourself against yourself, comparing yourself to yourself. That's a very important aspect of parenting. Comparing yourself to yourself. What have I been able to offer? As the holiday is coming back, your children are probably maybe in boarding school or wherever. Have you asked yourself, what new thing can I offer that will make my children see me as somebody who is actually, you just claim I'm a parent, I'm a friend. I'm a parent, is it by mouth? No. I'm a parent is by show. You work it out. Leadership is work. Leadership is not, and parenting is leadership. If you must lead, then you must lead ahead. You must be ahead. That's the only way. I'm going to teach you here. If I'm going to teach you here, I must be able to study to teach you. If I'm not teaching you what makes sense, I wouldn't have 149 people watching me. Value. People only gather where there is value. People only believe you where there's value. And your children know when you're actually sharing value, not just talking, on the air. All right? What can you offer? What can you offer? And that is very, 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 very key. It is in your offering. It is in your offering. It is in your becoming. You become, then you can have before you can now offer. That's how you offer. What are you offering to your children? Or you're just mommy, don't you know I'm the mother here? Don't you know I'm your parent? I'm going to talk. You don't need that if you're offering value. I've never had to tell any of my children, you don't know I'm your mother. Or my husband say, don't know I'm your father here. If you have to say that at any point in time, then there's something wrong with your journey. Trust me. There's something wrong with your journey. You have to always remind your children, I'm the parent. I'm the parent. It's that's not the way. All right. Your value is in what you have become. You don't need a reminder. So how are you learning? So we talk about education and learning. That's what we're talking about. That's why when parents in the inner circle come out, even in the schools where their children are, they speak like they know what they're doing. When you speak like you know what you're doing, people will listen to you. When people don't listen to me, I've been telling my friends, it's because you don't know what you're saying. When you say what you can't listen to me and not be held spellbound. How? It's in the learning, it's in education. That's what it is. That's what it is. So you need to keep asking yourself, am I really valuable? I'm just a mother that have carried my child, through it all. The next one is emotions management. How is my emotions management? Have I been able to manage my emotions? How have I been able to work on my emotions? I tell people that if you're not on this journey working on my emotion, all right, I'm working on your emotion and you're on this journey, trust me, you will not be able, all right, you will not be able to actually achieve much. Because intentional parenting is about having a hold of your emotions. When we talk, you say, that's how I am. That's how I am. See, if you offer value to your children, you will not need all this that's how I am talk. That's who I am. I really need to show my children that I'm the one that is the parent. If you offer value, you don't need it. You don't need it in any way. The problem is there's no value. There's no value. And what you come to the inner circle to learn is value, so that you can know what to offer. If not, you have nothing to offer. And your children are just going to look at you like, it's just a mother, and that's just it. Nothing to offer, nothing. All right. So emotions management, you need to ask yourself, how am I managing my emotions? How am I managing my emotions? I'm going to share some questions that, that you can look at when, as we begin to round off. All right. Yes, Dr. Happiness, glorifying your weakness. The moment you begin to say, that's who I am, that's how I was raised. You see all those, but we turned out okay. That's you glorifying your weakness. That's you actually basking in mediocrity. You just want to be a mediocre. That's who I am. I cannot change. I cannot learn. I cannot, you have all of the cannots. And you actually think that no, that's how I am. The way my mother used to be, and all of that. If I give my children backhand, this one, that one, and you think it's something to actually, praise yourself from, praise yourself on. There's something more than mediocrity. There's something more than that. And that's why okay is okay for you. That's why you say, but we turned out okay. Who told you that you are even okay? All right? According to Dr. Molala, he ended in praise. He ended with praise. At what cost? That is he ending in praise? I don't want to start this. He ended in praise. Dr. Molala is coming for you when she's going to be teaching some of the sessions. In a second parent, you are in for something. Come on. I'm waiting for you guys. All right. The next one is disciplinary management and behavioral management. Disciplinary management. Do you have a disciplinary plan? Or you just wake up and you just say, my children do not even know me. I'm very unpredictable. Yesterday, I used Gary Turner. The other day, I gave them backhand. In your mind, you think that what you're doing is right. To shock you. Unpredictability is one of the worst things you want to employ in parenting. One of the worst tools you want to employ in parenting is unpredictability. Children don't thrive. Children don't thrive in unpredictability. No, it doesn't happen. Children thrive in structure. Unpredictability is actually lack of discipline. Oh, I'm very unpredictable. My children don't even know, what I'm going to do next. It's a problem. It's a problem. They don't know what is expected. It's a problem. And you actually glorify all of that. I see you write on social media and you argue all sorts of things. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance you just argue those things, and sometimes you actually look foolish saying those things. Children don't thrive in unpredictability. And that's what happens when we don't learn. When we don't learn, we are constantly in the place where we are, thinking, we know it all. And it's the know it all that is making us and raise the kind of people we're raising today. Children who are 15 and cannot walk from one place to another. Children were writing jam, and parents were there walking around. It was almost, they were almost waiting to jump into the exam hall to write exams for their children. My friend in Canada told me, I've never seen Nigerian parents. They will come and sit inside the hall or at registration. Their children in university can register for themselves. It's just something that we need to begin to work on. All right, study management. We think that discipline is just boss. I just slap the child. I slap the child. Let me even say this. I was teaching in church in Sunnyvale Church Living Faith Church Sunnyvale in Abuja over the weekend, and I said to them, all of us claim to be disciplined. All of us. How many of you can pick a book, one book like this, read it, page 1, and finish it? I want disciplined parents. Not many people can't. Many people can't sit at a thing and consistently see it through. Many can't. Many of us cannot read instructions. Many of us cannot buy an appliance and read the manual and follow the instructions. And yet we actually claim to be so disciplined. I work with parents, and every time people say, Nigerian parents are very disciplined, African parents are very disciplined, and all of that. Like, really? Disciplined? What I can see? Nah, we're not. And if we don't begin to re-evaluate what discipline should mean, we are going to remain, you see all these, that's why when you finish, you raise children who can't finish nothing. Anything. You raise people who can't be consistent in anything. Because you yourself was not even taught consistency. You were not taught discipline the way it should be. We were taught discipline as aggression. So we all come out, and the discipline for us is being aggressive. Discipline for us is beating someone. It's being violent. And somebody asked me, where's the place of beating a child? I say violence has no place in parenting, any relationship, anyone at all. It has no place. Whether parenting, child to child, and all of that. You can't from your car. Disciplined parents, you throw a can from the car on the streets. You're supposed to be very disciplined. That Bible that you have beside your bedside, how many times have you read it? Disciplined parents. Many of the parents who are coming to the NASEC are telling me, coach, I cannot read the book. But you are the same person. Your child will do one thing, you don't give them backhand. You're not disciplined. I'm a very disciplined person. Nah, you're not. You're not. You're just an aggressive person. You're not disciplined. You are not just disciplined at all. So all of those are our definition. You need to, redefine it. I will leave the rest of the story for the parents who will be in my corner in this coming year. And I'll tell you why discipline, what you're doing with your discipline, and why it's a joke, and why you actually need to begin to make plans to create discipline in a way that makes sense. That will actually, and it starts with you. Most of us were not raised to be disciplined. You know what discipline is? Discipline is doing this 2 p.m. class every Tuesday, no matter what happens. You don't want to know why I don't want to do this 2 p.m. class today. Discipline is commitment. Discipline is consistency. Discipline is having to read 3-4 books at a time and being able to finish it and commit to it. That's what discipline is. That's what discipline is. That's what discipline is. Discipline is staying true. Discipline is loyalty. Discipline is being able to do things the way it is. That's what discipline is. So if you do not have those structures, you don't have systems, you can't be accountable. Any small thing, they hold you accountable. You already say, they are judging me. Why are they judging me? You're already a very indisciplined person. Because that's why the first thing that comes to your head is that they are judging me. Oh, they judged me. Oh, for the record, if you are coming into the inner circle, be prepared to be judged because I will judge you. Come on. All right. Let's go there. All right. Dr. Amine said, Coach, wearing red today. Yes. When I wear red, I don't know how come. There's an energy that comes with me when I come out with red. So inner circle parents, take notes. If you are in the academy for 2020, the day I wear red, adjust your seat because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. All right. You finish what you start. That's what discipline is. You finish it to the end. And that's what makes the difference. You commit to something, you run a business, you run it, and then you see it through. It's not, oh, today you are here. Tomorrow you say, oh, it's because this one did not happen. Oh, because you cannot consistently stay at the thing. Nothing, there's no result without consistency. There's no result without consistency. Whether on your parenting journey, on your business, or on your career, one small thing you have given up. Hey, I'm already tired. I don't even know. You cannot raise your children in that way. If you do, then you make a mess of your children. You're raising people. Discipline is self-control. The reason people cheat is because of lack of discipline. It's not anything. It's not war room anything. It's not a prayer point. It's a skill that you build. Pray from now till tomorrow. All right? Pray from now till tomorrow. And you do not learn self-control. You will continue, that man will continue to be a cheat. The woman will continue. It doesn't stop anything. It's a skill. It's a skill. It's not something you pray about. There are just some things that, you pray and pray and pray and pray. You need to go and get skilled at it. That's actually very important. That's discipline. That's discipline. And how do you begin to even raise children who is able to get disciplined? It's from age zero. That's how you begin to actually raise children who get disciplined. It's not children that you're always beating, jumping, hitting, and when they tell you, say, that's how they did it for us. I see how it turned out. We're very okay. Come into the inner circle. I will tell you how okay we are not. I will leave that. Let's get to the next part. Spirituality. You need to measure your spirituality. Whenever I talk about spirituality, people think that, it's about religion. No, it's not religion. It's not spirituality is not religion. You can go to church all you want, and if you do not understand, the concept of discipline of spirituality, you'll just be playing religion, and that will be it. You need to be able to measure this, know where you are, know where you're going, and be able to actually put a lot of things in perspective. All right? Very, 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 very key. Okay? So they say it's not village people. No, it's not village people. It's discipline. One of our major problems today is discipline. It's not village. No, village people did not do you anything. I grew up with a father who told me that nobody does anything to change your destiny. You have your destiny in your hand. As in, you are the one. That's the kind of father I grew up with. My father is very damn realistic. When people say, they now went to the village, they now, things now turned around, and all of that's not the kind of mentality I grew up with. Please do not get me wrong. I know that the spiritual exists, but trust me, if you're able to run, on that angle and understand the principles of the kingdom. Now, many of the times we embrace the person of Jesus, we don't embrace the principles of Jesus. That's one of our biggest challenges. All right. Then let me, I would pass on that. Now, these are the questions I want you to ask as you're moving. Okay, these are the questions I want you to ask as moving. Number one, am I abusing my child? Now, when I ask that question, these are the questions you are asking to review your parenting. When I ask that question, a lot of people say, I'm not abusing my child. Are you sure that you're not abusing your child? Number one, do you indicate in any way that your child has become a burden to you? That's how to know whether you are abusing your child. I hear you. You say things like, it's because of you people. I have given everything. You even tell your children, I'm attending one parenting class because of you people. Don't use inner circle to give that an excuse. You're attending for yourself, please. All right. He said, because of you, I know where I would have been. My mates are captains of industry. I'm here raising you people. You're telling your children that they become a burden. You are indicating in a way that they've become a burden to you. You need to watch it. You need to ask yourself, am I really abusing my child? Number two, is your child afraid of you? Oh, yeah. You think that your child being afraid of you is a good thing, is a bad thing. When parents actually brag about some things, I am ashamed, to say the least. How do you begin to say my child is afraid of me? As in, my child, you cannot talk where I'm talking. I'm not talking about disobedience. I'm not talking about being rude. Honor is a higher conversation. When you get into the inner circle, I'll teach you honor as a skill, and of course, we'll be able to, dissect this, differently. So, do you give your children do you give your children marks on their body in the name of discipline? Oh, I beat him. I gave him mark on his back. You won't brag about it. You have a problem. If you need to give someone mark for you to prove that you have actually corrected them, more, your problem is plenty. As in, your problem is deep, and you need to actually look at yourself again. Your child has no problem. It is you. If you need to see blood on someone's body before you actually agree, I beat the child, I beat her, and you even brag, I have first class in beating when I beat you like this once in a lifetime. Go and write it down. I have a problem and I need to solve it. I beat the hell out of you. I have a problem, I need to solve it. You should actually look back and say, what's happening to me? You should give your children marks in the name of discipline. If you have to even hit another human being in the name of discipline, you have a problem. You have a problem, trust me. All right, I will leave this for emotional intelligence class. When we announce, you can come and have that and begin to work on your journey. Put it down. Emotional intelligence class, you need it. Healing from parenting hurt, you need it. It's because you have seen your parents probably hit you, bring out marks, probably hit you on the body and all of that. You think it's normal. You think it's okay. Now you're bleeding on your children. If you're hurting, one of the things that happens is that you're going to bleed on your children if you don't heal yourself. If you were abused, hurt in any way, you will bleed on your children without healing yourself. Many of you are bleeding on your children. Many of you are actually literally bleeding, pouring your blood on them because you're not on your journey to healing. All right. The next one is your child timid? Many of us have parented timidity to our children. And then when I come and said, he cannot talk. A child that cannot say no to you. That's the next one. Can my child say no to me? We're raising children who cannot say no to us. And yet we expect them to say no to that predator who comes to touch their laps. And you say, why didn't you say no? Did you teach them how to say no to adults? And you blame a child you have raised that you have not given anything to actually be able to stand up to an adult, a child that you have told that an adult has a final say, a child that you have told that because you are an adult, they cannot do anything, they cannot say no, even if it's against their body. A child that you're beating and cannot say no, of course, their body is exposed to whoever. So when their body is touched by whoever, they can't say no. So the next time you blame that child for being molested, God is going to come for you. I'm sending God to you. It's not Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel. Which one carries that armor? I'm sending him to you because you need some whooping at this time. Because you have a problem. Are you raising a child whose self-esteem is battered, shattered, all in the name of parenting? A child is not able to actually tell you, Mom, I don't like this. Are you raising a child who cannot challenge you respectfully? Is a problem. When you read Raising Independent Thinking Child, you understand what I mean. You raise a child who cannot say, Mom, I don't think this thing you did is okay. Your child is so afraid of you that even when you do things wrong, your child cannot say to you, no, this is not okay. You are the Alpha and Omega. the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Well done. Aha. Well done to you. Well done, sir. All right. The next one, do you criticize your child more and judge them more than you praise them? Is your parenting full of if, 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 if? You're always criticizing. You criticize from the gates. Oh, this towel you put there. Oh, you did not cook. Oh, you the one you cooked is salty. Oh, you broke this one. Oh, you made everything you judge, you criticize. That's the only thing your parenting is about. It's not your fault. You don't know how to appreciate. You don't know how to praise. You were never taught. Your program does not have the ability to appreciate. All your program has is criticism and judgment. That's what your parents gave you. You cannot give what you don't have. So if that is what your parents gave you, what do? You need to remove that program. That's what the inner circle is about. Replace the program. Replace the program. You know, interestingly, the neuroplasticity of the brain has been proven over and again. That you can reprogram these things, but you need a lot of deliberate, you need a lot of intentionality, a lot of discipline to actually be able to do it. A lot of structure, a lot of systems. And that's why we say that the inner circle is not a fun thing. We're not joking. It's not a joke. It's not a WhatsApp group. So when you pay for the inner circle, you're not paying for a WhatsApp group, please. You're paying for a course, an annual course, where we don't run WhatsApp groups. I don't have any. All right, all the people that run parenting WhatsApp, we are in 10 parenting WhatsApp group. I don't know what you're doing inside. That's by the way. And that's one of the things that it offers. How you are able to actually reprogram what it is that all those things you think that trust me, it's just you thinking that and many of the times you don't really know. That's it. Wisdom is in learning what others know that that you don't know. The next one is, do I hug and touch my child regularly? There are many of us who cannot hug and touch our children, and it's not magic. I will not finish this class and you just go and say, oh, let me just hold my child. It will still feel awkward. There's a process to what it is that you need to do. Begin to look at yourself, your journey, and everything. All right? That's actually very, very important. And then the next one is, do I say I love them? A lot of you will say, why am I saying I love them? I love them. They already know I love them. Oh, they already know all of these things. They know what is it. All right? And all of that. Please, this is it's a different ball game. You need to choose. How much time do I spend with my children? That's another subject. How much time do I spend with my children? All these I don't have time gang. I don't want you people. If you don't have time, please shift. What are you doing with your 24 hours? If you don't have time, shift. There are people who have parents who are, all of us are busy as anything. All right? It's very, very, very key. How do I secure my family environment? How is my marriage? Your marriage is it's going to have direct effect on your parenting, no matter how it is that you run it. Your marriage is a big deal. Don't do your children a disservice. Your marriage is a big deal. And let me say this, change is noiseless. Every second your child is growing. Time is the currency of destiny. Your child is growing as we're talking. As we're talking here, your child is growing. So when you're just saying, I'm going to join them next year, let me just, I don't really have time today. I have one exam I'm going to write next week. Let me just, time, change is noiseless. Nobody, you can never see how your child is growing. You just wake up one day and you have 13-year-olds. I looked at myself and I'm wondering, how did I have teenagers in my hands? Now. Was it not just yesterday I was raising toddlers? It just flashes in your face. And if I've not taken, charge of the windows of opportunity that is available on your journey, you can actually make a mess of that journey. So this is me today, again, telling you that the registration for the inner circle ends, soon. We're starting on the 1st of December. As soon as we start, forget it. You're not getting it. You wait for next 1 year. All right. And as you're waiting, 1 year is, but you stay and wait. There's nothing we can do. That's how the inner circle runs. So you lose it for 1 year, you miss. It's like missing admission. You miss admission. When you miss admission in university this year, you wait for the next year. You just stay on the waiting list and then wait for the next year. And then I know some of you are listening to me and just wondering, what's she saying? She just wanted to talk about, all of that. Like Tope said this morning, if you understand the things that, the parents in the inner circle are able to do with the things that they learn, you would actually, think again and ask yourself, what am I doing nice outside? And this is not even about people. We have plenty. Okay, we have almost 2,000 people that we're onboarding as I speak. And this is about, many of the parents in the inner circle have said, Coach, you cannot be, pegging and saying, no, you have 1,000, you can only work with 1,000. Please open this inner circle for everybody. That's one of the reasons we're opening it up. And if you can't get in, please, you wait for next year. All right. And it's very, very, very key. Yes, you just wake up one day and then you see your child as tall as you are. Change is noiseless. Change doesn't make noise. That's why by the time you become pregnant, you don't really know. You just see yourself, things have changed, and then you go for a test and you don't know when the baby is really formed. You don't really know. It's noiseless. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't do go, go, go. No, it doesn't. There's no earthquake to change. So you're waiting for that big thing to happen for you to take a step. When you wait for that big thing to happen, when you say, oh, my child just started doing pornography, and when parents come to us, I say, no, they didn't just start doing it. They've been doing it for like a year or two. And when we get into a session, we realize that this child have done pornography for like 3 years. You're just getting to know, right? Noiselessly, this child have been doing what they are doing. And you're just getting to know because you don't even know the parameters to look out for when it comes to evaluating your journey, all right? Thank you so much for joining me today. And this is me sharing with you on evaluating your journey. The choice is yours. If you want the journey, to be looked at the way it should be looked at and also be reviewed, and then, of course, taking action, implementation, then the inner circle is the place for you. There's something I often say, that is either you're raising a king or you're raising a servant. And there's going to be equilibrium all the time in a society. There's no time every single one of us is going to raise a king, because kings are one in the society. So it's okay. So our children who are going to be kings will be served by people. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I often say, you're either building a mansion, or you are building you are building a shanty, right? The choice is yours. A mansion requires that you need to put in the work. You need to employ professionals. You need to do plenty things to actually get a mansion to stand. All right? A shanty, you don't need to draw a plan. You don't need anything. There's nothing you actually need. And if you're listening to me, if this is the first time of listening to me, I've got books. All right? If you're coming into the inner circle, of course, you know that these books are compulsory. You read them, you review them. You will not just review them, you will implement them. You will implement them. All right? If you have not joined the inner circle, you're actually the only one outside, really. That's what I've been saying. You're the only one outside. And when the time, if you don't do the time now, you do the time later. Either ways, you pay the price. When it's time for you to pay the price, we'll be very glad, for us to actually get you to pay the price the way you should pay the price. All right, so we'll have the book, Walking Your Child Through Puberty. You have issues with puberty, you should get them. We'll have Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, Volume 1 and 2. Love Your Child More, it's here, but of course, it's not launched yet till tomorrow. We have Resolving Sibling Rivalry. We have The Discipline That Works. We have Connect to Correct. And we'll have the Parenting Launch Plan. This is the book of the year for me. And we created this book specifically for parents in the inner circle to work with. And it's the book for it. This is it for me. If you're going to do parenting differently, then this book is something that you need. All of these books are available, and even many more, on Amazon. And you want to get copies, all right? Books are available also in Nigeria. You want to get copies, you can get. You mean some people have not registered yet? Or oh yes, some people that have not registered are listening. I don't know who they are. But if you haven't, of course, you can already see the comment in the comment section. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you for being here. It's 3 minutes after 15, after 3. Thank you again. It's been an awesome time. And for the inner circle parents, yes, I heard when Dr. Happiness said Coach worried. Somehow, when the red appears, you are in soup. Not this kind of soup. This soup is small. You will be in the kind of soup right in the academy. Now, when you finish, you're wondering, what happened to me? All right, it's not me. Don't hate me, okay? Just don't hate the messenger. Take the message. All right, leave the messenger alone. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Please remember that the pre-order for our books ends tomorrow. Please and please do not come to us to say, oh, you didn't pre-order, you want the books. Whether you're in the inner circle or outside, please, if you need the books, pre-order. If not, you are buying at the original price. All right, and we'll be glad for you to buy it. I've been saying it. You can leave it and just buy at the original price. You'll be helping us, really. Trust me. All right, printing in Nigeria is mad. So really, but this is the pre-order. It ends tomorrow. You're not able to get it. You pay 15,000. By next tomorrow. Please, we'll be very happy to actually receive your funds. Okay, and then you need to, if you want to be part of the inner circle, we are counting down in hours as we speak. 1st of December. 1st of December is on Thursday. And on that Thursday, we're going to be having our induction. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing time with the new yarders. We already have cohort A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We now have cohort 1H. And I think we're stopping at 1H. The team is saying at 1H, we're going to close so that people will be able to actually be able to actually work with that number. We're not afraid of the number. The systems we have, it can take whatever number it is that you bring on, but we also do not want the registrations to lag and the onboarding and all of that. Somebody said, I must commend you for the massive publicity and awareness. You and your team have done amazing. Thank you, Mrs. Knock. I really appreciate you. And the parents in the inner circle are still saying, Coach, you have not done enough. Some of them have come to me and said, next year we need to do something else. Thank you, Coach, for this session today. You really hit me. Mansion or no, you are either building a mansion or a shanty. That is your choice, a shanty or a mansion. Thank you again, and see you again tomorrow morning at my intentional parenting journey. Remember to share with your family and friends, because parenting takes a village. That village is not just a place. It's your friends, your family, the people you meet, the intelligence, the wisdom is available in the time. Thank you so much, and do have an amazing, amazing day.